on a new wave. I'm on a new wave. I'm on a new wave. I'm on a new wave. I got this style, you feel that soul, but still you play the radio. I changed my name 2 years ago, left that old sound, forward I go. I like it loud, you like it low, drown you in bass, type words that I say. Downtown the lights out, but we choose to stay. I don't know where this may go. These strangers know all the words at my shows. I tell she loving our style. Shit makes her face red whenever I smile. I lay down, takes off her clothes. Wake up, I leave for the door. Tell myself, flare guns go off in my head, saying not to call you this late. Still I doubt those numbers every time. Why do I replay those messages that you left at the tone last May? Slowly wishing you were never mine.
Your face became all I know. I try to picture when I
see you as you are, villain in your veins. Why you gotta show disdain? Gang of 100 useless pawns. I'm alright. Flyers, paper planes. We will never let you. Her body's gold like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine. Sunny day dreams and we up now. Vodka lemonade, I serve it up, it goes down. 75 degrees in a dope sound. All you need to live fine, to live fine. A little sunshine, you know me. Way before my songs were #1 for weeks on Hype Machine. You said that I make it. Honestly, we go back before record labels.
Okay, so you guys have been recommending doing stretches, so I just did like a 25-minute video stretch from YouTube on like stretches to help with splits. So I finished that. I couldn't really record it because I was watching the video on my phone, so that's not included. But other than that, I just did lunges, squats, and ab workout. It was kind of a chilled night, but yeah. Okay, I just got over the gym, and I've been getting a lot, like, whenever I post, like, fitness pictures on, like, my Snapchat and stuff, I always get questions, like, what is, like, my weight loss secret? And I really don't have a secret. Like, any of my weight loss videos, I've kind of included, like, everything I've always done from the beginning of just, like, going for walks, and, like, small exercises. The only thing, it didn't take me, like, it took me, like, a good, like, year and a half to lose the majority of my weight. I didn't lose it overnight. And the only thing I can say is stay consistent, because that's been, like, a huge thing to me for my weight loss, because, like, no matter if I stopped for months and went on, like, benders, just stopped keeping track of, like, weight loss and just stopped caring, like, I always went back to it. And I think the fact that I always went back to it showed, like, that initiative, and with every step, like, it just moved me forward a little bit. So I feel like the biggest secret out there is just stay consistent. Don't let any, like, stumbles or, like, mess ups, or, like, even if it's, like, a long period of time, slow you from, like, will take you away from reaching your goals. Because there were so many points where even, like, my mom, we come from a very, like, heavy set, thick family. Like, we're just all heavy. Well, we all were. And she was like, you're just big boned, like, it's not you, it's just your body, like, that's the way you were built. And don't let anyone tell you how your body should look or how you should feel about your body. Definitely it should be up to your own interpretation. And if I listened to my mom thinking that my body, I was just big boned and my body was meant to be that size, I would still be that size, but I knew that I personally wanted to be smaller, and that's where I got, and I just had to stay consistent, and that's like my biggest weight loss secret for that. But I also had to delete like a bunch of stuff off my phone, and some of those were like, I screenshotted a lot of the questions from Snapchat that I got for the question and answer, and some of those were those and I didn't even pay attention, but I already put them on my computer. So I still have them. So a couple of the questions that I didn't have while I was at the club this weekend, I have now because I'm home. So we're just gonna end the vlog with a few more of those questions. The first one from Underwater Wednesday was, what will your first day as a dancer be like? You get dressed, put your face on, and then what? Like, what happens when you get on the floor? How do you answer overly intrusive questions from customers without killing the vibe? Will you be switching up your hair? Oh, that was the question. I like remembered someone asked me about my pink hair. That was the question about my pink hair. But the first one, basically your first night, I feel like you should take it slow. Basically watch other girls, and especially if it's like your first night in general. If you've already done this, then you really don't need to do that. You should know what to do. But if it's your first night in general, just watch the girls, watch what they do, because right now you kind of want to like figure out how you want to approach the situation, because you can do it either like in several different ways, so you just have to find a way that you're comfortable with. So I would just say for like your first couple days, just watch the other girls and see what you like pick up and what you like that they do. And basically, I would tell any customer that you're new, because it's not a bad thing. It, one, gives you a reason to look nervous and be shy and all that. So it'll give a reason behind that. And every guy likes a new girl. Like, it just something new, flashy and shiny in their face. So it'll just help you out in the long run by telling them that you're new. How do you answer overly intrusive questions? I'm very upfront. Like, no offense, I just say I don't give out my personal information. I've had like older guys be like, oh yeah, that's not the name your mother gave you, and like be very persistent, and I'm just like, I know, but I'm still not gonna give it to you. Like, you just smile. As long as you stay like happy and joyful, like in your facial expressions, you'll totally be okay. But it's not like, it doesn't really kill the vibe, because at the end of the day, they shouldn't be pushing you out of your comfort zone. Like, any dude that comes to the club and expects to get your real name is just crazy, because some girls give it out, but that's not what every girl is about. So no one can just expect that of you. So don't feel like you're killing the vibe by saying no, and don't do anything you're uncomfortable with, just not to kill the vibe. If you kill the vibe, then it's not the end of the world. It's better than some creepy old man having your name. And even so, like, I've had guys that, like, I didn't give out my name, and they were kind of annoyed that I didn't give out my name, but I still got to dance. So it's like, at the end of the day, if they want to see your vagina, they're going to see your vagina without your name. Like, so I would just, it depends on, like, there's, no way I can just give you advice on, like, how to come back at this, because it depends on how they come at you, because some guys can be like very playful, and then some guys will be like, no, I want your real name. And I'm like, well, you just killed the vibe anyway, so no, you're not getting my real name. So it honestly just depends on the guy and the situation and how they come out with their response on you initially telling them that you don't want to give your real name. Also with like certain questions, or you could literally, I'm a pothead. I can't think fast enough to like come up with a fake name. I'm gonna fuck up and say my real name. So I just say no. But like with things like where are you from? Like, I always say Plymouth, because it's a big town, like right by Kingston. It's literally Plymouth and Kingston. And Plymouth is a huge area. It's like 4 exits, so it's like, I'm not too concerned. And I don't know. It's only caught me up once, and it didn't really catch me up because I didn't tell him, like, I was actually from Kingston. But he was like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, oh, Plymouth. And he was like, oh, I'm from Kingston. Shit. And I was like, oh, I hope I never run into you. But then it's still like Plymouth and Kingston are close enough that if I do run into them, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just in Kingston, you know, for the day. So it just definitely depends on the situation. There's various ways you could answer it, but like the best way to answer it and not kill the vibe is always do it with a smile and be like, haha, I know, I'm sorry, but I honestly don't give that out. Like, just make it like playful and fun. Let me see. Okay, so another one. This one wasn't for the question and answer, but she had asked me this earlier, and I thought it would be a good one. Okay, so the first one was... Okay, so the question about playing music at the club. It depends on the DJ and the club, because I worked at three different clubs, and they've all had like three different situations. Well, actually, look, there's so four, but there was all three different situations. The first one would be you can play music directly off your phone as long as it's not off like Pandora or anything with ads. The second one was like write down all the songs you want to play, and the DJ will add it to a playlist for you. And then the third one would be like they just take a general, like, I play reggae, and they'll play reggae music for you. I feel like sometimes, like, honestly, they'll usually throw in a few songs that you actually know and like in there, but it's usually like mixed in with like the general genre of music. And then the next question, she said, who do I go about payout? Usually you'll find that out on your auditions, and if you don't, ask, but it should be like the manager or the DJ, house mom, or one of those names. And if it's not them alone, it'll be them, the bartender, the bouncer. There's like, it depends on the club, honestly. At Ebates Angels, I had to tip out a house fee to the manager, I had to tip out the bartender, and I had to tip out the bouncers, and I had to tip out the DJ. At Hurricane Betty's, I had to tip out a house fee, I had to tip out the DJ, and then I had to tip out the bouncers because they would let me go to my car and smoke. So, like, smoke weed. We could smoke cigarettes in there, but we couldn't, like, always, like, it was a small, Hurricane Betty's is fucking small as shit. When I say it's the dressing room smaller than my living room, the dressing room smaller than my living room. It's small as shit. So we couldn't smoke in there because the whole place would be like fishbowl. So I would like tip out the bouncers to be able to go smoke in my car. And Zach's, I literally only tip out the DJ, which pays like the DJ's salary. And then Richard pays us because he doesn't pay the DJs, you know? So, like, that's the only thing I like about Zach's, is that I literally come out of pocket zero. Because I'm, like, throwing this blunt around, like, okay, he reimbursed us a check, at the end of our last shift of the week for tip out, basically, which it depends, because you could tip out $20 to $30 at Zach's. I tip out $30 because that's what Richard gives us, so it's just like, there makes no sense to tip out less than that. Like, well, on a good day, but on a bad day, like, I'll just do 20. But yes, that's why I like said in my last video that, like, make sure you guys take in tip out into consideration when you're picking clubs, because it can get very high. Like Centerfold in Boston, minimum is $3.50. That doesn't include like you tipping people extra to get, like, because with clubs like Centerfold, you need to basically tip extra, so people, because certain clubs, like, they have champagne rooms, and with huge, like, gentleman clientele clubs, the champagne girls and those type of, like, the people that walk around with the champagne, those are basically the girls providing girls with champagne rooms. Like, they, like, hey, I know this girl, like, they hook you up with the dancers, so those are the girls you tip out at the end of the night. So it's definitely going to be over $350, and you have to take in the fact that you're putting your job in someone else's hands. Like, what if you're the girl that nobody likes at that club and nobody wants to help you get champagne rooms? So, I don't know. I take that in, like, that's why I work at Zach's, because I don't lose anything by working there, and I don't stress over paying other people's income. Like, I'm there to make money. I don't want to stress about my $350 fucking tip out at the end of the night. Like, I just want to worry about my bills. So definitely think about the club you decide to work at and their tip out and their like, is it worth the money you'll make? Because like I said before, a decent day at Centerfold after tip out is a good day at Zach's, like a great day at Zach's, basically. So with, like, no tip out. So definitely take that into consideration. Think about it. Do your research on tip outs and call ahead, especially because some clubs not only require tip out but require licenses, and licenses can range from like $30 to $350 range. I've seen girls post. If you guys haven't seen, down below that I have the GroupMe app, go to that, because a lot of girls are putting like their information for their states, like whether it required any sort of licenses or permits. But yes, check that out, because I think it does, like, it can get all the way up to like $350 for permits and stuff. So definitely do your research. Definitely stay committed, and we'll all be sexy skinny bitches unless you like being thick, and that's okay too. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys.